Yo, what's up, all you burner stones and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
I'm fantastic.
Hey, all you vipers out there. Hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. And Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal. We are smoking some BananaConda because my anaconda don't want none unless you got bananas, hun. You could do side bends or sit-ups, but please don't lose that joint. Light that up and pass it over because we're going to smoke all night. Hey, I just made that up.
Don't get too excited.
We're smoking some BananaConda, grown by our friend Ignius. And BananaConda is also known as BananaConda, is an evenly balanced hybrid strain, 50-50 indica sativa, created through crossing the potent snake cake and dual G number 4 strains. Silly name assigned, BananaConda is a favorite among hybrid lovers for its soothing, stony high, long-lasting effects, and will have you settled down and ready to go to sleep in no time. The high comes slithering in pretty quickly, filling your mind with happy, hazy sense that pushes out essentials any thought to speak of, replacing it with happy thoughts.
Hey.
Heady nothingness. As your mind settles, your body will begin to follow suit, falling victim to a heavy relaxation that will eventually leave you feeling pretty locked down to the couch and ready to go to sleep. Oh boy. In combination with this is insanely high THC levels. Can go all the way up to 32%. Average THC level, these effects give BananaConda a notable edge in killing the symptoms of chronic pain, insomnia, depression, chronic stress or anxiety, and mood swings or mood disorders. Wow, that's pretty good. This bud has a sweet and fruity banana berry flavor with a punch of spicy black pepper upon exhale. The aroma leaves on the spicier side with hints of black pepper and freshly earthy bananas galore. BananaConda buds have long and dense pepper-shaped emerald green nugs with thin orange hairs and tiny golden white crystal trichomes. The effects: body high, calming, happy, relaxing, sleepy, stress, relieves symptoms of anxiety, chronic pain, depression, insomnia, and stress. Flavors are banana, fruity, peppery, spicy, sweet, and then tree fruit. I've never had that before. Banana, the aromas are banana, earthy, fruity, peppery, spicy, and sweet. And that is BananaConda, grown by our friend Ignius.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ignius, for throwing to the cause.
I keep hitting it. I'm probably going to be sorry.
Yeah, well,
but it tastes really nice.
We just got done finishing watching White Lotus.
We did.
Really good show. Mrs. Weedman watched the ending because she seemed to fall asleep through it, in and out. But it was good. Great ending. I like the season. Really good. The new season we just started watching, is The Fabulous Gemstones.
Yeah.
We love that show.
It's like a back history of the family.
Yeah, this first one where the gemstone became a preacher, which was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. And Bradley Cooper was the
pork chop sideburns are hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
Great grandpa had them. Pretty funny. But White Lotus, nice. I do have to rewatch that episode because I didn't realize we were watching the last episode when we were watching it, and then I feel like I missed a lot. And there was a lot of after conversation about different little things within the set that were really interesting and kind of like little hints and cues within the scenery.
Yeah, it was
so
good.
Now I want to go back and see it.
Yeah, I don't need to watch it again. I thought it was great. It was a great ending. Great last season. A lot of people didn't like it, but a lot of people did. I thought it was good. But I'm really looking forward to this new season of...
I thought it was short. It was a short season.
8 episodes? 7?
Was it?
7 maybe? 8, I think? Yeah, it was a very short season. But it was good. I'm so happy for that one woman. She got $5 million.
Who did?
The massage woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, her and her son came up with a deal.
Oh, don't tell people.
Wow, I didn't tell them why or how. Just got $5 million. I like to thank a friend of ours of the show for giving us both T-shirts. You're not wearing yours today, but I am. I'm wearing this beautiful T-shirt. What does it say? Because I can't.
Smoke it out. So cannabis for less veteran suicide. So on average, there's 22 suicides a day with our veterans, which our is definitely an answer through cannabis. Our friend Maddie
G.
Yeah.
I'm going to get up for a second. Out. Look at everybody on the shirt. If you're looking on video here, YouTube, Maddie G. I think you can get these too from him.
From him.
Yeah. Yep. So check him out. Thank you, Maddie, for the
They're
awesome
very cool.
T-shirt. I love it.
Great
I'm wearing
cause.
it during the show. Great cause. Thank you.
Maddie is a veteran.
Yeah,
Our son is a veteran.
Yeah, so support the cause. So we really appreciate the shirts, Maddie. And I told you I'd wear it for the show. Since I don't do my Sunday sesh anymore, this is the shirt I'm wearing today for the show. So thanks, brother. I appreciate you. And keep on going out there and fighting the good fight, brother. We love you. We're going to be this, it is 420 week. This is 420 week, the biggest selling week of the year for cannabis. And good sales will start the 17th. So by this Thursday, I would start shopping. Don't start shopping early. A lot of stores are going into early days because they know that 420 is on Easter Sunday this year. And, so there might be a little bit of slow period on Sunday because it's Easter. So, but that means Thursday, Friday, Saturday, go out and shop, find the best deals. There is flower deals. There's going to be concentrate deals. There's going to be tons of edible deals. Everything. And there's tons of giveaways.
Lots of BOGOs.
BOGOs. If you don't know what BOGO is, it means buy one, get one. Because some people don't, like me, acronyms suck. But lots of BOGOs, lots of deep discounts. I've seen a lot of places doing 42.0% off at stores. It's going to be a big week and a lot of events at stores. There's always like parking lot parties and vendors giving away free swag and free goodies and free everything. So go shop to your heart's desire. You could probably go with $100 and walk out with a lot of good stuff. So find the deals, find the sweet spot, go out there and shop and support your local dispensaries because they need it. This is their week of the year, which is great for them. So and also for the cultivators and infusers and all that too out there. So support your 420. And we're going to be this Saturday at the Stash Dispensary in Orland Hills for the Legacy Stash Holding It Down party. And they throw a banger, right? We'll be there from 6 to 11, rolling doinks.
6 to 10.
6 to 10, rolling doinks, having fun. Lots of DJs, lots of people being there. So come check us out. Don't forget Stash Holding It Down party held by the Legacy Group and Stash Dispensary at Orland Hills, right? 167th in LaGrange, I believe, right? Come check us out. We'll be there rolling big fat doinks. Okay, I'm going to sing a song. I don't sing very well, but I'm going to sing a song and see if you recognize the song and the movie it's from. Okay?
Okay.
Don't you forget about me.
I just want to hear you sing.
That's it. That's all I'm singing.
Not 16 Candles. It's Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. And it is their, can you believe it's their 40-year reunion?
That's really cool.
40 years.
I can believe it. We watched it when we were kids.
I've watched it more than once.
But when we were kids, it came out. It was a new movie.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know if we were in I don't even think I was in high school yet. I don't believe I was. I think it was like
40 years.
Yeah. So I was 12.
Yeah.
So I was in 6th grade when that movie came out.
I remember it was like...
it was great.
John Hughes movie.
All of his movies.
Yeah.
Amazing. Really puts the Generation X era in a whole, all of his movies and what Generation X lived through. It was really neat. I watched the video. They were at C2E2, which was in Chicago. And what was really neat was they asked them what would they want to go back to. Like, if you had to go back to that era, what would you like go back to and why? One of them said, I think it was Molly Ringwald, said, no cell phones and no social media. When life was a little simpler. Now, and everybody agreed. They all of them agreed on stage. Like, we agree. So it was kind of neat seeing there. A lot of them, all of them look great.
I can't believe that this is the first time they've all been together. It took them 40 years. It was Emilio Estevez was the hang-up, and he finally decided, because I guess they had all kind of said, like, maybe he just doesn't like us. And he was like, oh, absolutely not. I love you guys. So he finally made the time and found the need. He was doing too many flying V's from the Ducks movie. The Ducks, there was on the brink, there was a thing called the Flying V. And that was probably too many flying V's he did, so he couldn't make it. Too many duck movies. Duck, quack, quack, quack. That's what he was doing when he walked out on stage. Oh my God. But all of them had great movie careers. Yeah. Especially in the 80s and 90s. They were all the movies that they played in, we all watched. I mean, like you mentioned before, 16 Candles, Weird Science. So many. I'm not even going to start going into them all, but it was just great to see all of them on stage together talking about that movie. It's a big movie for us, our generation, for the Generation Xers. It is a huge movie for us. So happy 40 years.
for that movie.
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. I mean, it was amazing. If you haven't seen it, if you have not seen it,
oh my God, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, yeah,
you just have to go watch all of
Go watch at least The Breakfast Club. Because that movie, to me, I mean, yes, there's no cell phones, there's no social media, but it's relatable. It's relatable to all ages. It is. I mean, just what it's all about. I mean, you have 4 different variety of high school students. You have the jock, you have the princess, as she called her, the most popular girl in school, prom queen. Mm-hmm. You have the nerd, brainiac, and then you have the weirdo. And those are still today. They might be called something different. Mm-hmm. You know, the rocker, you know, the punk rock guy, the fuck you to the man. You know, you have that today still, maybe dressed differently, but you have that today in schools and in life in general too. I mean, even our age too. There's still people that are called a dork or a nerd. Or I mean, I'm a big nerd. I love being a nerd. I'm an anime video game nerd, you know, and a weed nerd. And but it's a great movie. And what was the one part of that movie that like stood out for you?
I don't know. I don't know.
Mine was when they smoked weed.
Yeah, and then they were all telling their stories.
And they were playing, but they smoked weed, and then they were really high, I was laughing my ass off. Then they got real crazy. They were playing music and dancing
around.
Yeah, and the weed part. I mean, like I said, weed is in so many movies, and it's been a part of our lives and growing up for a very long time. So that was like, you know, there's a stigma, you know, oh, look at them, they're smoking. No, hell yeah, they're smoking weed in high school. Yeah, hell yeah. In the school, hell yeah.
What's her face? Didn't she put her lipstick on with her boobs?
Yes, she showed that. Yeah. So that part stuck out to me. Of course, you stuck out with the lipstick and the boobs.
It was pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know anyone who wasn't impressed.
Great movie. Congratulations. They should have done kind of like a spoof remake of it, like them 40 years later.
Yeah, like
a
what
little
they're doing
mini,
now.
like a 10
like
minute.
A reunion?
Like a 10-minute movie.
Like a high school reunion. They all happened to go back.
They should have like a 10-minute video. It would have been kind of funny before they came out on stage.
Yeah.
That would have been great. I'm going to offer you $3 million. Do you know what it's for?
I don't know.
I need you to join this competition for me, and you possibly can win $3 million. Anybody can. Here's what I need you to do. You've heard of NASA before, right? Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
You've heard of NASA before, right?
We're going to talk about this one.
Yeah, you're an idea. Ideas are free. I've said this to you, right? But you're an idea person. So let me ask you, there's a competition right now, and it's about recycling. NASA needs somebody to compete, recycle. Guess what?
No, it's about recycling in outer space.
Yes, but guess what?
So when people start living there.
Yeah, but guess what?
What?
Human poop.
Yes.
In space.
Yes.
So can you come up with an idea to get poop recycled? Because there's 92 pounds, 96 bags of human poop on the moon still from that was left there when we flew to the moon.
How
96
many?
Bags of human waste, because they probably dumped it out of the space station.
Yeah.
Not the space station, but the space, the ship onto there, because they probably had so much poop they didn't know what to do with back then. So they still had a couple.
It stayed.
I wonder what it looks like. I wonder if it like turned white like dog's poop, or is it still is it petrified, like hard as a rock? I mean, it's very old. It's been like since the 60s. So human poop, but I mean, don't forget they dumped their pee and their poop out of the space station into space.
Yeah.
So imagine if you were flying another spaceship and some poop hit your window.
Whoa.
So they're looking for somebody to kind of like figure out how to recycle poop in space.
Okay. Well, I have a real problem with that, because we have a problem here on Earth, Earthlings, with a lot of garbage that needs to be figured out, and a very poor recycling program.
Yeah. We just watched that show.
And someone is incentivizing somebody to create a recycling program for poop in the outer space. Like
3 million.
How many people right now is that benefiting? I think there's better ways to spend your 3 million. I mean, science is very cool. Don't get me wrong, but maybe that's a little. I just didn't want to know that. I didn't want to know that.
They're talking about like maybe outpost or something like that, like a little like outhouse on the moon. Like
who's going to live up there and poop anyway? We haven't even been back since the 60s. We're supposed to be smarter, aren't we? We have more technology, and we haven't been back on the moon, and we're worrying about fucking poop there.
Poop. 96 bags.
That's getting me worked up.
We littered the moon with poop.
Well,
nothing
guess
else.
What? go outside and look down the block. There's probably litter somewhere.
Yeah, but there's poop.
Yeah, there's
poop.
Dog shit on our parkway, probably from someone that was too lazy to pick it up. I mean, come on. I think the moon can handle a few poops.
I don't know. I feel bad. We left our human feces on the moon.
I mean,
fix it, Mrs. Weedman. Fix it.
I'm fixing things.
3 milli. Teach them how to do it. Oh, gosh.
I'm not smart enough for that.
You ready to get the show started?
I am. I am very high at Ignius. Very high. I can't even see without my glasses.
What? We've smoked a lot of strains from Ignius and Big Earl on the show, and a lot of different strains from them. And we've smoked a lot of different strains from a lot of people. And but we get pretty high from the home grows, really high. I mean, just like can't see so good, John Cena, you know. So, all right. Before this show goes the different direction, let's get the show started, okay? The old stoner stereotype is fading, except for one group. Marijuana has become mainstream, and the stoner stereotype is fading, except for one tiny group. When Gen Z, boomers, AARP, and FDA are more embracing cannabis, the average consumer is truly mainstream. The old stoner stereotype is fading except for one group, a few men in Congress and the new administration. The deception of cannabis users as lazy, unmotivated, and perpetually high is fading as societal perceptions of marijuana evolve. For decades, this was reinforced by media portrayals in films and TV shows, often reducing cannabis users to comedic relief or symbols of irresponsibility. Crazy, right? Mm-hmm. We're not irresponsible.
No.
Hell no. Cultural shifts, legalization efforts, and growing understanding of cannabis use has begun to dismantle these outdated notions. One of the most significant factors contributing to this change is the widespread legalization of cannabis across many regions. Legalization has transformed marijuana from an illicit substance into a regulated commodity, fostering a more professional and normalized image. Dispensaries now operate like mainstream businesses, emphasizing quality control, education, and responsible consumption. The shift undermines the association of cannabis with criminality or defiance. Additionally, Gen Z and younger millennials are moving away from alcohol in increasing numbers, with a portion moving to just cannabis. Non-alcoholic beer is becoming more popular and taking a bite out of craft breweries. The rise of wellness culture has redefined how cannabis is perceived. Many users now turn to cannabis for health-related purposes such as pain management, anxiety relief, or improved sleep, rather than recreational use. This has helped frame cannabis as a tool for self-care rather than a vice. The emergence of products like CBD oils, edibles, and low THC options further diversifies the way people engage with cannabis, moving away from the stereotypical image of joint smoking slacker. You slacker. You slacker,
You're
Mrs.
Slacker. You weed smoking fool. I'm so big.
Generational attitudes also play a role in reshaping perceptions. Millennials and Gen Z view cannabis more pragmatically than previous generations. For them, it was less about rebellion and more about lifestyle integration. Whether for relaxation, after work, or as part of social gatherings, these shifts have helped normalize cannabis use across diverse demographics, including professionals, parents, and athletes. Despite these advances, remnants of stoner stereotype persist in some corners, primarily the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and a few older members of Congress in the current and past administrations. Cannabis use faced fewer stigmas in professional environments and among older generations as Gen Z moves away from alcohol and seniors realize they have health benefits with cannabis, especially around chronic pain and sleep issues. Everything we talk about on this is a lot of it right now. We've talked so many times about the stoner stigma, how it was just ingrained that, since 1937 that stoners didn't have any motivation, they were lazy, blah, 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 blah. That's done. And I've said this before. You're not lazy because you smoke weed. You're just a lazy person. That's it. Some people
you might not want to hear it.
Right. I'm just, the truth will set you free, but you're just a lazy person. That's it. Just being stoned is just being stoned. And you just are even now just, okay, I'm stoned, but I'm already lazy. I'm just not going to get off my couch, today. It's okay to be lazy every once in a while. I'm ambitiously lazy. I like to get my shit done so I can be lazy. There's a difference. There's lazy people, but there's ambitiously lazy. So the stoner stigma, it's going bye-bye. I still like being called a stoner, burner, or pothead, because it's just been ingrained in our life, but that we're moving away from all that. It's just a norm now. It's becoming more and more of a norm. If we just get our federal government behind it, it'll be really a norm, like they've done with alcohol and tobacco. Take it off the schedule, make it like alcohol and tobacco, and run it that way, and
make
watch
some universal rules.
Yes,
and
watch cannabis fly, just how high as I am right now. Cannabis extracts show promise in treating symptoms associated with autism in children and teens.
Yeah.
Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Parents of children with autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, may someday see relief from their disruptive behaviors associated with autism spectrum disorder, thanks to cannabidiol or CBD extract treatments, according to research presented at the 2025 European Congress of Psychiatry. About 1 in 100 children are estimated to have ASD. Children and teens with the disorder often have difficulty interpreting language and expressing emotions. They also sometimes cause disruptions, for instance, by repeating certain words or behaviors. Current treatment for autism falls into 2 categories: medication and behavior, though neither has demonstrated large-scale efficacy. Medications to treat autism spectrum disorder include anti-anxiety and antipsychotic drugs, as well as stimulants, but the medication's efficacy varies widely from patient to patient. The medicines also don't appear to control antisocial behavior and often cause side effects. Behavioral treatments for ASD tend to focus on applied behavior analysis. This treatment leans into a patient's strengths or obsessions and uses constant feedback to alter behavior. However, there is some doubt about this approach's efficacy too. Due to both the extent of ASD and the challenges in treating its symptoms, both parents and physicians have been searching for more effective and universal approaches. Autism spectrum disorder can be extremely frustrating for all involved: parents of children and adolescents with the disorder, the treating clinicians, and of course the children and adolescents themselves, Geert Dam, EPA president, said in a press release. A large part of this frustration comes down to finding a viable treatment option that works to reduce symptoms. The researchers turned to 3 earlier small studies where children and teens received varying doses of CBD oil. They then pooled the results in the meta-analysis they presented at the conference. Those results appear promising. The treatments significantly enhanced social responsiveness. They also provided small yet notable reductions in disruptive behaviors and anxiety, according to the study. The oral treatments also didn't appear to cause any substantial adverse effects when compared to a placebo. The authors recommend that the treatment be tried with more patients to test both the approach's safety and efficacy before it is approved for widespread use.
There you go. Yeah. Cannabinoids and headaches, helpful or harmful? Cannabinoids have gained attention as potential treatment for headache disorders, including migraine and cluster headaches. While some studies suggest cannabinoids may provide analgesic and anti-inflammatory effects, concerns remain regarding their potential for overuse in headaches, cognitive impairment, and psychological dependence. The study critically evaluates the current evidence on cannabinoids in headache treatment, weighing their benefits and risk. Some findings. With the migraine treatment landscape expanding faster than ever, recent studies explore immune cells as a target for cannabinoids. Immune cells express cannabinoids in CGRP, that is, I'm going to butcher this, but I'll do my best. Calcitonin gene-related peptide. I got it.
You did it.
Receptors. As a result, cannabinoids might potentially modulate the efficiency of current CGRP targeting drugs. Additionally, emerging studies suggest that cannabinoids may enhance neural resilience and mitigate centralized sensitization in chronic migraine. Research into optimal delivery mechanisms, include inhaled sublingual and transdermal formulation, is also expanding. Cannabinoids are being studied as a potential treatment for headache disorders, particularly migraines, due to their interaction with the endocannabinoid system, which regulates pain, inflammation, and vascular functions. Studies suggest cannabinoids may help reduce headache frequency, alleviate pain, and improve sleep. Though concerns remain about dependency, cognitive impairment, and medication overuse headache. While retrospective studies indicate benefits, the lack of standardized dosing, long-term safety data, and controlled traits limit conclusive recommendations. Comparisons with conventional treatments show mixed results, with cannabinoids presenting variable effectiveness as a risk of adverse effects. Further research, including randomized controlled trials, is needed to establish optimal dosing, safety, and efficiency in headache management. I know a lot of people that use cannabis for headaches and for migraines, Dovboy especially. That helps him out huge when he gets a migraine. I mean, it just takes it right away, he says. So take it from Dovboy, him and his back alley deals. Most cannabis users, what do you think they want?
They want to be healthy.
Right.
Right.
And what do they want healthy now?
Munchies.
Munchies.
Yes.
Tell us about it, Mrs Weedman.
Yes, this is a CBD Oracle survey finding that cannabis users want healthier munchies and snacks. They're pushing back against the stereotype of the junk food loving stoner, with almost 2/3 of respondents to a new nationwide survey saying they try to choose healthier options when they get the munchies. According to research from CBD Oracle, a cannabis consumer research company, 63% of U.S. adult cannabis users said they always or sometimes try to choose healthier snacks, with 1 in 4 pointing to fruit, salads, and smoothies as the foods they crave the most. People assume cannabis automatically leads to junk food binges, said Shahi, the editorial director at CBD Oracle. But most users, especially regular ones, are trying to snack smarter. The health-conscious stoner is real, and data proves it. CBD Oracle's survey asked a nationally representative sample of 1,000 cannabis users about their experiences with the munchies. Alongside the expected increase in snacking, the survey found that 63% try to choose healthier snacks, rising to 71% among daily users. Diet and nutrition concerns likely play a big role, with the study also showing that 53% say that they get the munchies that makes it harder for them to meet their weight and nutrition goals. 43% feel guilty after having a weed-fueled snack binge, and that the average cannabis consumer spends about $10 per session on snacks. Regular cannabis users are hit the hardest, with 3/4 reporting that they often or always get the munchies. That'd be me. Compared to less than 1/3, Mr. Weedman, of those who get a high less than, oh no, you don't get a high less than once a month, but you don't get the munchies. So this means that potentially a daily consumer could be spending like $70 a week on snack foods.
Mrs. Weedman spends more. Just kidding.
Maybe. While most stick to the classics like pizza, chips, and ice cream, some take things further. When prompted to share the weirdest things they'd eaten, cannabis users shared a surprising number of stories about pickle binges, including eating them with chocolate syrup, peanut butter, and frosting. Some even confessed that they'd eaten a 30-year-old collectible Reggie bar while high. I've been that desperate for a snack. Sometimes you binge hard. The full report, including methodology, demographic breakdowns, and the bizarre food combinations people eat while high, is available for readers. So check the link in the episode details this week. CBD Oracle is a cannabis consumer research company producing data-driven reports on product safety, public perception, and behavior to help people understand how cannabis impacts everyday life. So it'd be interesting to see how they expand the data that they offer.
I haven't had the munchies, munchies, since high school when I smoked weed in high school. That was munchie weed.
You talk yourself out of it.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I just don't get the munchies. I don't get cravings. But back in high school, the weed back then, oh my God, I used to fucking house stuff like you wouldn't even understand. There was one time, this kid, Mike, who I might have told this story on the show before, but I think our parents were out of town. I was a freshman in college. This kid, Mike, who I hung out with, he was a year younger than me, and my brother and a couple of his buddies were at my parents' house. And he came over with a joint. We smoked it. The last thing I remember is grabbing a gallon of orange juice. out of the fridge and eating combos together. And it was the most wonderfulest thing
Orange
ever.
juice and combos. Oh, they're both orange. The combo cheese.
It was amazing. It was sweet and it was sweet.
Salty.
It was salty and like
crunchy.
Sour and everything. And my mouth was like going ballistic.
Oh my God.
And that was the last time I remember having the munchies like that. I don't remember munchies really ever getting the munchies.
No, you never really did.
No, but that time I did. It was munchie weed. I could not stop eating. I remember the kid Mike came walking from the outside, from our backyard in the house and sees me in the kitchen. And he just started, he goes, "You're eating fucking combos and drinking orange juice," and just started laughing and walked out of the house. Hysterical laughing. And I started laughing and combos and juice fell out of my mouth because I was laughing so hard. High school munchies. Oh, shit. Cannabinoid receptors expression in non-small cell lung cancer. Effectiveness of THC and CBD inhibiting cell proliferation and, why do I take the hard articles? Epileptical mescamal transition in vitro. Yes, that's what it says. A recent study published in PLOS 1 explores how cannabinoids, specifically THC and CBD, affect non-small cell lung cancer, NSCLC, the most prevalent form of lung cancer. The research focuses on the role of cannabinoid receptors CB1 and CB2 in tumor progression and patient survival. Some findings. Cannabinoid receptor expression and survival. Analysis of 157 NSCLC tumor samples revealed that patients with higher expression levels of CB1 and CB2 receptors experience improved survival rates. Effects on cancer cell behavior. In vitro experiments using lung cancer cell lines demonstrated that both THC and CBD individually reduced cell proliferation and migration. When combined, these cannabinoids had an enhanced effect, suggested a synergistic interaction. EMT, that is the epilol to mescanshimalol transition, EMT. Sure. THC and CBD treatments led to reversal of EMT, a process by which cancer cells gain migratory and evasive properties. This was evidenced by increased expression of the E part, the epithelioid markers, the E cardarian, and decreased expression of the mescalinal markers, MESENCHYMAL. Yeah, exactly. An example of the N-cardarin vimetian, and that's spelled VIMENTIN.
You lost me.
I know. CBD's molecular role. CBD not only enhanced the anti-cancer effects of THC, but also mitigated its psychotropic side effects, making the combination more tolerable for potential therapeutic use. The implications. The study suggests that the CB1 and CB2 receptors levels could serve as biomarkers for the NSCLC prognosis. Furthermore, the combination of THC and CBD shows promise as a complementary therapy to inhibit tumor growth and what's that word when the tumor cells grow? METAS.
When they
metastasize. Metastasize, thank you. Potentially improving patients' outcomes while reducing adverse effects associated with THC alone. Conclusion. This research underscores the potential of cannabinoids in cancer therapy, particularly for NSCLC. By targeting cannabinoid receptors and reversing EMT, THC and CBD, especially in combination, may offer a novel approach to managing lung cancer progression. That's huge.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a pretty big research study, too. So the call is coming. The call is coming, Mrs. Weedman, from inside the industry.
Yep.
There's a scientific wake up for cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Yes. David Valancourt delves into the important role science plays in the cannabis industry and how the industry needs to embrace stringent manufacturing standards to move forward. The call is coming from inside the house. No, this isn't a horror movie, but it should scare you because the biggest threat to the cannabis industry's future isn't federal prohibition or overregulation. It's us. The people inside the house, the companies pushing products with no scientific backing, the lobbyists defending outdated myths, the advocates and operators who refuse to work together. I'm speaking in support of Dr. Jehan Markou's latest article in Rolling Stone, one of the most humble and brilliant scientists in the cannabis space. The realism he brings to his writing might seem so sharp it borders on sarcasm, but it's not sarcasm. It's the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts.
Or it'll set you free.
Yeah. His latest piece is a desperate call to arms, and we need to listen. These days, it feels like nobody truly cares about science or the people who use these products for medical reasons, and the available data reflects that apathy, Dr. Jehan Markou told Rolling Stone. That quote hit me in the gut as someone who spent years immersed in standards development for the cannabis and hemp industries. I have met hundreds of CEOs, compliance leads, investors, attorneys, and government regulators. Across the board, there is a common thread. No one wants to harm their customers, and everyone craves stability and a shared set of rules. Where we diverge is how to get there. Dr. Markou highlights foundational questions that remain unanswered. What is medicinal cannabis? What differentiates one product from another? At what point is someone intoxicated by a cannabis product? How do we understand ratios like THC to CBD and their varied effects on users? We still rely on outdated categories like sativa and indica, even though they've been debunked repeatedly. Dispensaries often use these options to confuse customers. Is this lemon haze going to help me sleep, or is it energizing? Does it reduce inflammation or increase anxiety? Where is the science? Dr. Markou rightly calls out how much of the industry's research efforts, feel constrained by a desire to reinforce comfortable narratives rather than disrupt them. The reality is many cannabis businesses are operating without a compass. They are navigating inconsistent regulations and competitive pressure while trying to stay afloat. But blaming inflated THC values on labs or blaming regulatory gaps on the federal government doesn't absolve us. The hard truth, regulators are more organized than we are, and that's a problem. CANRA, the Cannabis Regulators Association, is actively engaging with stakeholders. They hold annual external meetings to hear from a diverse cross-section of voices, led by public health researchers Dr. Schauer. They've opened their doors to collaboration, yet I can constantly hear folks criticize and fear them. So I ask, have you shown up? Have you invited them into your house the way they've invited you into theirs? This is like corporation to corporation talking. We can't keep meeting behind closed doors, stuck in the same silos of advocates versus regulators versus scientists versus business operators. We need to come together. Darwin Millard, a.k.a. the Spock of Cannabis, an ASTM International standards leader and technical director of CSQ, has a vision for just what this could look like and why it's so important. With so many conflicting factions in the U.S. cannabis industries, we are our own worst enemy. To prove to regulators and legislators alike that the cannabis industry here in the United States is legitimate and stable, we need to come together as an industry with one cohesive voice, because currently we are drowning ourselves in a sea of voices and agendas, which can easily be perceived as self-serving and damaging to our credibility. So how do we address this? One solution might be to hold an emergency Continental Congress, similar to how our founders organized and ratified the U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights. We get all the various stakeholder groups representing the cannabis industries together in a room, and no one leaves until we come away with a singular, unified industry voice and a list of articulated specific demands and consolations and lobbying strategies to present to the state and federal level politicians, says Millard. Whether it's a Continental Congress with locked doors or not, it's clear that to be taken seriously by federal and state regulators and legislators, the industry must take an all-hands-on-deck approach to find a cohesive and unified voice that outlines the policy framework desired, with scientific evidence to justify the position, says Millard. The cannabis industry is uniquely diverse in its leadership, from legacy operators to university researchers, from public health experts to business developers, lawyers, and engineers. I have had the privilege to meet and befriend a diverse mix over the last 7 years. Through these relationships, I've continually found that the most successful players are those who seek common understanding and use data to raise the bar, not weaponize it or control it. And that's what we need now, shared understanding based on science. That means embracing standards. It means integrating good manufacturing practices and consensus standards into your operations, not because a regulator told you to, but because it's the right thing to do and the smart thing to do. I'm proud to serve as the vice chair of ASTM International's D37 Committee on Cannabis, formed in 2017 in response to a flood of inquiries to the 125-year-old organization. At Committee D37, over 600 individuals spanning industry, government, academia, medical practitioners, and more have embraced ASTM's open, transparent, and impartial process for setting standards that are now being adopted by regulators domestically and embraced internationally. Cannabis stakeholders, it is time to stop playing defense, stop reacting, and start leading. Struggling operators, do you want to know how to protect your consumers? Invest in science. Can't afford to hire a full-time scientist? Then fund one. Donate to nonprofit cannabis research organizations. Hire an outside consultant that knows the latest best practices published in the now over 60 ASTM cannabis-specific standards. Their expertise can help you uncover your blind spots to reduce your operation risks. Build an advisory board of scientific minds. Because, as the old saying goes, if you don't have a seat at the table, you're on the menu. You're leveraging expectancy bias to sell products you don't fully understand. You're part of a system that uses synthetic cannabinoids to mimic effects without transparency. You're running an operation that will suffer irreparable harm when you have your first product recalled or when you're served with a civil lawsuit. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, we've talked about the
there's
lawsuit.
more.
Oh, there's more? Tell us more.
There's a better future. One where we understand intoxication thresholds. One where we can accurately advise patients about cannabinoids and terpene ratios. One where product labels mean something beyond marketing fluff. We are at a crossroads, and the path forward is paved with standards, science, and collaboration. The question isn't why hasn't anyone hired a scientist? The question is why haven't you?
Great article.
Yeah.
Great opinion.
Yeah.
I get a lot of truth
Solid.
to that. A lot of truth to that one.
I want to read the Rolling Stone article.
Yeah. It was a little shortened version of it. I read the Rolling Stone one, but that was good just as a summarization of it all, and just a lot of good hard facts on there. Yeah. We got a big responsibility.
Well, it is. I mean, think about it. I think that most people understand that we don't have the data. So most people, well, maybe not. I don't know. When someone gets their medical card because someone tells them, you need to get your medical card and you need to use cannabis as medicine. And then they take the step because someone guides them, holds their hand, gets them to the place. And now they have their medical card. And now it's time to go to a dispensary. When they go there, they have no idea what they're doing. And maybe some of those people literally think this is like going to a pharmacy and there's essentially like a proper one pill that does the magic for you. Right. They don't understand the complexities and that this is all just kind of a guessing game and trial and error and what are your symptoms? We have things that are said to work for that.
Right.
I mean, it's having standards would really be great.
Yeah.
But that requires more science.
Right. And the crazy thing about it is we read an article a while ago that was 35,000 research papers on cannabis that a lot of people don't even know about.
We just don't even see them. Yeah.
Unless you listen to the show. But we haven't gotten through that many.
Oh gosh. No.
But yes, do your research. Like ask questions. Just because someone said you should try cannabis for sleep could be for you, might not be for you. And just you have to experiment, but because you have to read like, okay, why does cannabis help with sleep? What do I need to take with cannabis? What do I need to take to help? What kind of cannabis do I need to take for sleep? Stuff like that. Pain, chronic pain. Well, you could take a strain that gets you all wired and you want to do laps. Or you could take a strain that is basically like we read on the BananaConda. Helps with chronic pain.
Right.
But not all cannabis is one size fit all. I guess if that makes any sense. Yep. It's not. You have to do your due diligence and you have to do your research, especially if you're using it medicinally. If you're using it socially just to get high and go out to party, that's a different story. Have fun with it.
But if you're using it with a purpose and an intention, then you want to be directed to the right stuff. Right. And the more research there is, the more specific a strain can be. Yeah,
do your research.
I mean, my thought is that there will be someday that we could just do like a little mouth swab or something, and you put it in the machine. And you say, "I'm feeling crappy right now. What do I need?"
Right.
And it knows the terpene. It knows the terpene profile. Yeah. That's what you need.
These are the cannabinoids you should be taking right now. Yeah. And hopefully there'll be strains that'll have all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that'll be amazing. More and more. I mean, you're seeing terpenes in concentrates really, really. I mean, we've been smoking some good concentrates lately that have like 10% terpenes in there now. It's just like, whoa, years, just you didn't see that much now. Now you're seeing like people priding themselves on getting that higher terpene content for flavor and for health benefits and stuff. It's just know what you're going to do, research before you start buying, make sure it's right for you if you're using it medicinally. And so
like the whole terpene and cannabinoid lack of transparency. I would gather that a majority of people don't realize that the distillate in their vape doesn't have anything but THC in it.
100%.
And if there's any flavors, it's added back in, and it could be just from a fruit or a plant, not necessarily from cannabis.
Right. Well, it's mostly added back in from botanicals.
Right.
Botanical terpenes and then flavoring. Lots of flavoring. To make that because distillate has no flavor. It tastes gross. Straight distillate does not taste good, especially if you're smoking.
But most people don't understand that kind of strip down of the plant.
Right. Yeah.
And even in dispensary cannabis, like maybe even there's a lot of people that don't even understand the terpene, cannabinoids, THC. Most people just think weed. I want weed. I want to be giggly. I want weed. I want the pain to go away.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But little by little, we're getting to this point of education.
The way we started with the dispensaries, the outdated information now, when we still call this sativa hybrid and indica, that's so outdated. And we've talked about this on the show so many times, but it is so outdated and we need to
It just takes time for people to learn.
Right. Yeah, we need to really get better now. Those days that was in the beginning to help people understand the plant, but we have to get better. Got to get better. So stuff like that article and those associations and stuff like that offer this kind of stuff. Join, listen, learn, be the best thing for you. Also, don't forget about 8decades.com.
Hey.
Check out 8decades.com. So for all your cannabis accessory lines, check out 8decades.com. It is $4.20. We have free shipping on anything over $100.
Yep.
Free shipping over anything over $100. Buy yourself a smoke set. Buy yourself a shirt. Buy yourself a steamroller. What are you laughing about, Ms. Weedman?
You check out 8 Decades. Check out 8 Decades. Check out 8 Decades. That's spelled EIGHT, not the number.
Spelled out, not the number. There you go. So check out 8decades.com for all your cannabis stuff. We appreciate the support. So got in a few new dispensaries that you'll be delivering, which is going to be great. Yep. We'll mention them once it's in-house. So you can go check it out. So, but
check out our new, at all of the Starbuds dispensaries, B dispensaries, and check those out. They have all been reset. So we have new displays. They look really nice.
You did a great job.
Yeah. So check them out if you're in the area.
8decades.com. So political, state, and business news. IDOA offers operational application extension for good cause. The Illinois Department of Agriculture extended the operational deadline for Group 2 craft growers to June 1st, 2025. Growers unable to meet this must submit a craft grow operational extension application form by May 30th, 2025. Central Time. Extensions may be granted for good cause, excluding issues like overruns or lack of funding. If a grower doesn't apply or fails to start production within 6 months of licensing, they risk license revocation. Decisions will be made on the rolling basis and communicated by June 30th of 2025. Medicare and Medicaid officials finalized rules to clarify that medical marijuana isn't covered by federal health programs. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services have finalized a rule clarifying the medical marijuana and its derivatives, including cannabis oil, are not covered under federal health programs like Medicare Advantage. CMS emphasized that these substances remain illegal under federal law and are therefore ineligible for coverage. This decision responds to inquiries from MA organizations about offering cannabis-based products as supplement benefits. CMS includes alcohol, tobacco, and cannabis products on a list of non-covered items, alongside funeral expenses, life insurance, reinforcing that medical marijuana is excluded from federal health benefits. Boo! Alabama bill giving ABC board control of sales of edibles, drinks, and THC, CBD moves forward. An Alabama bill advancing through the legislature would grant the state's Alcoholic Beverage Control Board authority over the sale of consumable products containing THC or CBD, such as edibles and beverages. The proposed legislation aims to regulate these products similar to alcohol, addressing concerns about unregulated sales and potential health risks. Supporters argue it would enhance consumer safety and provide clear guidance for businesses, while critics worry about the over-regularization and its impact on the hemp industry. The bill has passed committee and awaits further consideration in the state's legislature. Hawaii Senate bill passes to let doctors recommend medical marijuana for any condition they see fit. Yay. They see fit.
That's great.
Yeah. The Hawaii Senate passed the bill HB 302, a bill permitting healthcare providers to recommend medical marijuana for any condition they believe would benefit from it, expanding beyond current list of qualifying ailments.
That could be good and bad because doctors that don't understand it, and if that's the person's only source of medical care, then the doctor would just be like, well, I don't think you need it because the doctor doesn't know what it does.
Right.
Or at least if there's like a list to go off of and you qualify for one of those conditions, then they can't argue that you don't need it.
Doc, just give me a card, will you? So the bill now awaits consideration by the House. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Patients are largely comfortable with their doctors using marijuana outside of work, study shows. Yeah. A recent study indicates that most patients are comfortable with the doctors using marijuana during personal time, provided it doesn't impair their professional duties. This reflects a broader shift in societal attitudes toward cannabis use, especially in regions where it's legal. The findings suggest increasing acceptance of responsible marijuana consumption among healthcare professionals.
I'm sure a lot of them have a drink.
I'm sure they do.
Why can't they have some weed?
I agree with you 100%. Yeah. I think a lot more doctors would probably do a lot better with weed than alcohol. So plans to open up a dispensary shop in Long Island town get smoked by angry residents. One angry resident yelled, "I hope you can sleep at night." Yeah, very vicious. At an April 8, 2025 town hall meeting in Islip, Long Island, approximately 100 residents voiced strong opposition to a proposed legal marijuana dispensary. Concerns centered on potential increase in youth drug use and I know we talk about this all the time.
It happens.
The old stigma and the perception of marijuana as a gateway drug. Central Islip School Board Vice President Debbie Kavanaugh emphasized the town's 2021 decision to opt out of legal cannabis use, urging leaders to maintain that stance. Conversely, advocates like Gary Oval of the Long Island Cannabis Coalition argue that the regulated dispensaries could curb black market activity and enhance safety. The town board proposed its decision scheduling until June 15th. Lack of track and trace system at the heart of marijuana inversion in New York. New York's cannabis market is grappling with a significant issue known as inversion, where out-of-state marijuana products infiltrate the state's regulated supply chain. This problem is exaggerated. You like that word? You like how I pronounced it too? By the absence of a fully operational track and trace system, which has mandated by law, but remains unimplemented over 2 years after the first adult use sale. The lack of such a system hampers the state's ability to monitor product origins, undermining market integrity and disadvantage licensed local cultivators who struggle to compete with cheaper illicit products. While the Office of Cannabis Management has selected BioTrack as its tracking vendor, the rollout has faced multiple delays with full implementations now anticipated sometimes in 2025. Industry stakeholders, including the Cannabis Farm Alliance, have expressed frustration, citing that the situation as a betrayal of the state's farmers and calling for immediate action to establish a fair and legal market. Top GOP senator in Indiana says it would be smart move to what? Decriminalize weed.
Wow.
Indiana Senate President.
Indiana.
Yeah, pro Temper Roderick Bray, which is a leading Republican too. Yeah. recently expressed support for decriminalizing small amounts of marijuana, suggesting it would be a smart move given current trends. He emphasized that the individuals legally purchasing cannabis in other states shouldn't have to face jail time upon running to Indiana. Didn't I say that a while ago? I said if you're not gonna make legalization like with dispensaries and cultivation, I said at least decriminalize and let people home grow. I said that multiple times. Indiana, just make it happen. However, Bray remains unconvinced about broader legalization, including medical marijuana. While some Indiana lawmakers are exploring reforms inspired by neighboring states like Illinois and Michigan, Bray maintains that any decriminalization efforts must be deliberated collectively by the legislator. How about putting it on the ballot? And see what your constituents want in your state. You know, don't make the decision for them. See what they want. Do a mock one.
Yeah.
See what happens. Legislators consider 8 bills to increase cap on cannabis dispensary ownership. Massachusetts lawmakers are reviewing 8 bills amid at increasing the current cap of 3 cannabis dispensary licenses per business to 6 or 9. Proponents argue that raising the cap would help struggling small operators attract investments and facilitate business sales and market challenges like oversupply and falling prices. However, nearly 60 industry leaders and advocate opposes the change, warning it could lead to market consolidation by large MSOs and undermine social equity goals. The debate reflects a broader tension between fostering business growth and maintaining protections for smaller, equity-focused cannabis entrepreneurs. DEA fails to set cannabis reschedule briefing schedule. No progress made, and there's an appeal. The Drug Enforcement Administration has not made progress on the cannabis rescheduling progress. In an April 10, 2025 joint status update, the Chief Administrative Law Judge, John J. Mulrooney, the DA, reported that its acting administrator has yet to set briefing schedules for the appeal concerning that proposed reclassifications of cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. This delay follows allegations of improper communications between the DEA and anti-rescheduling participants, which led Judge Mulroney to grant the appeal and definitely postpone the hearing initially scheduled for January 2025. The rescheduling process remains stalled pending further action from the DEA administrator. Such bullshit. Such bullshit. We got it stuck to us again. They stuck it to us again. It's okay. We don't need you. We don't. 600 pounds of marijuana stolen from Colorado State Patrol evidence storage lot. I heard it was the rats. They got into the vault and stole it all this time again. They're the culprits, the rats. Around 600 pounds of marijuana was stolen from Colorado State Patrol evidence lot in Arapahoe County. The theft occurred on April 1st when thieves used power tools to breach a lock gate and trailer. The seized cannabis was not part of active court cases and was awaiting destruction. No other criminal investigation was impacted. In response, the patrol is moving the security measures and conducting an internal investigation to assess potential policy violations. No one's going to get caught. No one's going to get caught. It was an inside job. That's just my opinion. Who knew there was 600 pounds of marijuana in there? You know what I'm saying?
Someone knew.
Yes, exactly. Inside job?
Maybe.
Possibly.
Quite possibly.
You're a great detective, Mrs. Weedman.
I just play one on TV.
Here's a great thing. Today is Tuesday, April 15th, right? And today is the day that recreational marijuana sales begin in Colorado Springs.
Woo!
Finally. They had med, but now it's rec. The whole state's been rec forever, but Colorado Springs opted out. Today is the day.
Today's the day.
Starting April 15th, recreational marijuana sales begin in Colorado Springs. City Records Friday showed 22 storefronts have secured active recreational licenses for opening day. People are excited, said Paul Julian, corporate counsel of the Nuvu Pharma, a Pueblo-based company, which one of 7 shops located in the Springs. Congratulations, Colorado Springs. Now I can come back and buy some fucking weed.
What's the population there? Oh, they have almost 500,000 people.
In Colorado Springs, really?
Yeah. I didn't know that.
It's if you haven't been to Colorado Springs, it's a great city. Go to the Garden get really stoned, and go take a walk around the Garden of the Gods.
It's beautiful.
You'll be like, holy smokes!
It's 6,000 feet in the sky.
It's beautiful. One of the best burgers I ever had was in Colorado Springs, and they don't make that burger anymore because I went back there one time and that place stopped making it. It was a cold smoked Kobe burger. What did I say?
It was cold smoked, dry aged Kobe beef or something crazy.
And then I say to you, when I took that first bite, I looked at you. I was like, I think this is the best burger I ever had. This was like 2004 when I had it. So, and I went back 2 years ago to Colorado Springs. That place did not do that anymore. They stopped it right after COVID. Like they stopped making it during COVID. I was like, I came all the way here, and the food there is great, but it just came there for the burger.
No more.
Had brisket instead. Oregon activists file second ballot proposal to legalize social cannabis consumption businesses. Good for you, Oregon. Scott's Miracle-Gro cuts cannabis ties. They bought Hawthorne Collective, which was a big company that sold to a lot. I wouldn't say it was big. They were big in the cannabis community. Okay. And Scott's Miracle-Gro bought them out. So here's what happened. Scott Miracle-Gro, a 2.7% post-market last Thursday, after saying it's transferring its wholly owned Hawthorne Collective subsidiary to an undisclosed independent strategic partner, marking the first step in separating its cannabis-related businesses from its core lawn and garden operations. The Hawthorne companies are intended to capitalize on the legal cannabis sector, but the ability to achieve sustained growth with the industry has been challenged by 4 years of unkept promises, resulting in a total inaction at the federal level on cannabis-related issues. Let me tell you something, Scotts. People bought Hawthorne, and it was a good company until you bought them out. And that's when everybody went, bye-bye. Big Earl used to talk about Hawthorne and this whole thing with Scott's buying them out. Hawthorne was considered a good company for the cannabis folks, and then you have Scott's Miracle-Gro, which is total booty. Bought them out and just scared everybody away. So as you can see, no one stopped buying them because they had to take them out of their and give them to a subsidiary. Twinkies.
Yeah.
Do you like Twinkies? It's been a while since I've had a Twinkie. It's been a long time. Right?
Yeah.
So the Twinkies' new owner courts a novel group of snackers. Guess who? Stoners. Twinkies' new owner, Hostess Brands, is targeting a unique consumer group. Cannabis
Twinkies
users.
Has always been a Hostess.
Yeah, but Smucker's bought them. So, yeah. So the company is exploring marketing strategies to reach the stoner demographic, capitalizing on the popularity of cannabis-infused snacks. This includes experimenting with THC-infused versions of Twinkies. Whoa is right. Hostess aims to align itself with the growing cannabis industry through regulatory challenges remain. The strategy seeks to tap into a new, expanding market while navigating potential legal hurdles. Twinkies, everybody.
Twinkies.
They will survive a nuclear war.
Yeah. I think I'm more partial to a zinger. The yellow zingers with they
were great too.
The sugar,
yeah, they were great.
Smear of frosting on top. Oh my god,
they were great. So I was more privy to a Chocodile, which was a Twinkie covered in chocolate.
A Twinkie?
Yep.
I think you've talked. No, you used to talk about some sort of ding dong.
No, they were Chocodiles. That's what I always talked about. And you could
Twinkie covered in chocolate.
I grew up in New York, and they had Chocodiles on the East Coast. I never saw them here, and I haven't seen them in a very long time. But a Chocodile was the shit. And it was a dark chocolate covered Twinkie. Oh my God.
Oh, it was a Hostess cake.
Yes. It had a crocodile shaped as a Twinkie, but shaped as a crocodile.
Chocodile golden sponge cake.
Can you?
They're not in the shape of an alligator. Why are they called Chocodiles?
Chocodiles. Instead of a Twinkie.
Like a crocodile?
Chocolate covered Twinkie.
Right.
Yeah, Chocodile.
But they don't call it that on the box.
What do they call it?
They do.
Right.
No, they don't. It's called fudge covered Twinkies, quote unquote, the Chocodile.
Yeah, Chocodile. It was so. Can you buy them still?
No.
Really? Oh my God.
Well, it says Kroger has them, but you can't buy them. They're not there.
I would love to find a Chocodile again. Maybe you'll have to make an infused Chocodile. Take a Twinkie, dip it in infused chocolate. Yeah, there we go. Mr. Weedman's always thinking. Is legal weed in trouble? Taxes over supply and hemp threat drove a $21 billion cut in sales estimates. Whitney Economics cuts the 2025 through 2030 U.S. cannabis market forecast by $21.1 billion. That ain't no small chump change.
That is not.
That's not pocket change. That's a lot of moolah. Due to the challenges like high taxes, oversupply, and competition from substitute products. States such as California, Illinois, and Arizona saw the steepest revenue declines. The forecast downgraded reflects ongoing issues with the cannabis industry, including slow federal reform, unfavorable tax policies, which are hindering growth projections. 100% tax Well, I mean, how many states have I talked about taxes and how many people, how many states are raising their taxes now because they're using it as their cash cow? I'm going to read one in a minute here. Delaware House passes marijuana bill to address dispute with FBI that threatens to delay recreational market launch. The Delaware House passed a bill addressing the dispute with the FBI over background checks for cannabis industry workers. The FBI rejected the state's request to set up a fingerprint-based background check system, threatening delays for the launch of recreational cannabis market. The new bill aims to amend Delaware's marijuana law to align with FBI requirements, allowing the state to proceed with issuing licenses and preparing for the adult use market. Motorcycles and cannabis. A bold new venture opens in Pownall, Vermont. A new venture combining motorcycles and cannabis is opened in Vermont. The business offers a unique blend of motorcycle culture and a focus on cannabis products, aiming to serve local enthusiasts. It is one of the first businesses in the state to blend these two industries, providing a fresh take on cannabis market while supporting the local community. I love it. The business marks a bold expansion into the emerging cannabis tourism sector. Bikes and blunts. Tennessee House passes, now this is just the House, passes amended bill to regulate hemp industry, ban hemp flower in the state. The Senate version of the bill is set to be debated on the floor soon. We've been talking about that for a hot minute now, that Tennessee was going to do away with THCA flower sales throughout the whole state. Yeah. Told you guys all long time ago. I said you're pushing the boundaries. You're playing in the gray, but in the gray area. There's a gray area. You know, there's a white and a black area, but there's the gray area. And Tennessee was playing in the gray, the double gray, like the dark gray, you know. And because they're selling basically THCA flower.
Right.
And you don't know if it was coming from hemp or if it was coming from cannabis, and you call it THCA. Hey, business development. I would do the same fucking thing, you know. But you push the issue in states that was like, this was supposed to be just hemp and CBD, you know, and you guys found and gals found business development. You went to a stand that's selling THCA flower. You bought some, didn't you? Yeah. So, I mean, you pushed it. Let's see if the Senate votes it down, and then you can still sell your THCA flower. Let's see. I hope so. I hate to see people go out of business, you know? True Leaf pumps $19.6 million into renewed recreational marijuana push in Florida. Wow. So the last push, they pushed $145 million supporting the where they missed by 8%. You know, you had to hit 60% in Florida. And so now they're pushing. How much
more money?
19.6 million True Leaf contributed in early 2025 to support the renewed push for legal recreational marijuana in Florida. The campaign, led by Smart and Safe Florida, aims for the 2026 ballot after falling short in 2024. So far, only 150,804 signatures have been verified, but they need 880,062.
What are they waiting for? That's a lot of money.
So True Leaf, but that's how much they need signature wise. You need signatures to get it on the ballot.
Right.
So they're only at 150,000 right now.
Right.
So
they need to get busy.
True Leaf has spent approximately $145 million supporting a similar recreational marijuana initiative that was in 2024. Wow. So they're spending more money, which is just crazy because the hemp industry was giving DeSantis money for all this. And then I found out, I didn't get the whole article, but I read some of it. Like, I think DeSantis is going to be investigated because there was $10 million that was spent by one company during last year that his wife used for something else, or something like a donation to a fund or something. So there was money being mixed around between last year, and now you have this push again. I think True Leaf is foolish for spending this kind of money, because it's still, you need to get the 880,062 people. You're only at 150, 804. You have until a certain period to get that done. So you got a lot of work to do, Florida. I know you're disappointed, but you're so close to maybe getting it this time. Go for it. What's it going to hurt? You know, get a million signatures so they can't say no, that they're not putting it on the ballot. Because I know DeSantis is trying to stop that too with the in the courts too. So
here's a little briefing in Tallahassee, Florida. This was on the 11th. Part of government Governor Ron DeSantis's crusade to defeat a Florida recreational pot ballot measure received $10 million from two groups that got money from a nonprofit associated with the First Lady Casey DeSantis's community-based assistance program. Money came from her. So, yeah. So they got some problems.
Suits, schemers, and scandals. Episode number 6. If you haven't listened to that episode, still one of my favorite episodes to this day. I talk about it a lot. That whole entire episode talks about shit like this. And the early, this was our 6th episode. It was it was crazy. And the scandals and the schemers in any industry, but in cannabis too. It's like, whoa, Minnesota Post recreational marijuana rules. Politico predicts no sales till 2026.
Such a disaster.
Oh my gosh.
Everywhere.
The adoption of rules is the most significant step to launching the cannabis market because the office cannot issue business licenses until they are in place. Eric Tubel, interim director of the state's Office of Cannabis Management, said in a statement, the judge's approval of our proposed rules without changes shows that we did our work to engage with the prospective cannabis businesses community and put together a reasonable structure for ensuring consistency, safety, and equity in Minnesota's cannabis industry. Even so, State Senator Mark Korn told St. Paul TV station KSTP that adult use sales likely won't begin until late spring or early summer of 2026. Because it takes 12 months to get a business running after testing facilities are approved. Ugh. You have to wait. We're April 15th. You're going to have to wait till late spring, early summer of 2026 before you get your first flower. Come on, Minnesota. Ugh. But the governor of Kansas says it's time for lawmakers to finally legalize medical marijuana. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly renewed her call for lawmakers to legalize medical marijuana, urging the legislature to act during the 2025 session. She emphasized public support and the need to provide relief for patients with serious health conditions. Previous reform efforts have stalled in the Senate despite House approval. Kelly criticized continuing action as politically motivated and not reflective of Kansas' views. She also noted the state is falling behind others in access to medicinal cannabis. I mean, they go right over the border to Kansas City. Come on, Dorothy, let's get your act together. Maryland lawmakers passed bill clarifying marijuana consumption lounges rules and letting owners sell cannabis companies to employees. That's pretty good. Maryland lawmakers passed a bill to clarify rules for cannabis consumption lounges, allowing them to serve low-dose THC beverages and operates as food service facilities with proper permits. The bill also lets cannabis business owners sell to employees before the usual 5-year wait via employee stock ownership plans. Additionally, it set the stage for a second license of the lottery, pending a disparity study to ensure equity, and extends medical marijuana delivery through July of 2026. Localities may regulate smoking, vaping at lounges, including permitting outdoor use. The only thing bad about Maryland right now is that the House or the Senate passed the tax increase from 9 to 12%. I think the other one of the other ones have to approve it. That's the only thing that's
crappy.
Booty. Missouri cannabis regulators find another 6,000 products that should have been recalled back in 2023. Remember we read about the oil gate back then? Missouri cannabis regulators added 6,000 more products to 2023 recall, all linked to Delta Extraction's use of unregulated cannabis and THC oil. Discovery followed a review ordered by the state's Administrative Hearing Commission. Though no health issues have been reported, the state cited potentially safety risk. Delta Extraction license remains suspended, and nearly 157,000 items are still on hold. Legal and regulatory debates continue over whether hemp-derived THCA should be treated like marijuana. Here's the thing. If you got product still sitting there from 2023 of those 6,000 products,
it should be destroyed.
100%, whether it was good or bad. I ain't smoking shit from 6,000 from 2023. You out your mind.
There's no reason for that.
None whatsoever. Here's something great. I'm happy. I'm a big Zigzag fan. I mean, I've been using Zigzags forever. That was the only rolling paper I ever would smoke out of back when I started smoking weed, besides Philly blunts, and then White Owl grape. When those came out, those were amazing too. So, but Zigzags, if you don't know who Zigzag or have heard of Zigzag, then you haven't been around, or you might just be born. So here's something really cool though. A blazing Times Square ad touts 420 as cannabis steps out of the shadows. The outdoor stunt from Zigzag and Cannabis Now Media celebrates the biggest weed sale day of the year. A bold Times Square, and I saw the picture of it. It's like right smack dab in the center. You know that big billboard?
Yeah.
It's right there. And then that they have that like that AI generated screens where it comes out of the screen. They're gonna have joints with people's hands coming out of the screens and shit like that on Times Square.
Lit joints?
It's just
No, I know,
animation.
but looking like they're smoking?
Yes. And same thing with the big billboard.
Whoa.
The Zigzag, the top of it's lit. You know,
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty dope. A bold Times Square campaign is promoting
cool.
420 as a mainstream cultural event, symbolizing cannabis emergence from stigma to celebration. Spearheaded by cannabis lifestyle brand Miss Grass and agency Public Address, the campaign uses vibrant visuals and pro-cannabis messaging to spotlight legalization progress and normalize consumption. It marks a significant cultural moment by placing weed advocacy in one of the world's most iconic advertising spaces.
Wow.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty fucking
that's
awesome.
pretty cool.
Yeah. I was looking at the pics. It's so cool. I was like, hell yeah, let's go. The feds, Mrs Weedman, release a new cannabis report. Tell us about it.
Yep. There have been a lot of open-ended cannabis promises from the federal government over the last few years regarding rescheduling. Unfortunately, the latest Trump appointment has people skeptical of the outcome. While the path remains unknown, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention did release some new data about the plant, informing what American cannabis consumption really looks like. Here's what the feds know about American stoners. The government agency included a summary of cannabis consumption methods in a recent morbidity and mortality weekly report. The study found that cannabis consumers are more adventurous about how they get high, which could complicate public health management. Cannabis has evolved immensely in the last decade. There was a time when cannabis patients had a handful of strains to choose from and maybe a cookie or two. There are now edibles based on viral food trends and ever-expanding strain menus, not to mention hash, vapes, and flower. The CDC reports that these growing product offerings have led to the most diverse consumption to date. Researchers gathered this data from the 2022 Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance System. The yearly survey is conducted on landlines and cell phones with non-institutionalized adults over 18. Accuracy limitations are present. Data is self-reported and does not provide the widest view of the population. Also, jurisdictions have not consistently asked about cannabis consumption methods year over year, which makes it hard to track trends. But however we look at it, people are consuming more kinds of weed. In 2022, the survey included revised cannabis questions for 22 U.S. states and 2 territories with legalization reform. The survey did not allow people to select multiple consumption methods from 2017 to 2021. This is the first time the CDC has gathered combined use information since 2016. The agency surveyed 19 states on cannabis in 2023, but the information collected is unclear at this time. The cohort included almost 140,000 respondents. 14,000 had consumed cannabis in the previous 30 days, and 6,800 of them did so over 20 times in that period. This frequency of use was most common in 18 to 24-year-olds. Daily consumers mostly smoked, at least 80% of them did, while 40% ate their weed, 30% vaped, and 15% dabbed. Vaping and dabbing were most common in the youngest age group. Dabbing was also most common in those who did not have a high school diploma. 1 in 8 adults aged 18 to 34 reported daily cannabis use. Approximately 1/2 of current cannabis users reported multiple routes of use. They like to eat, smoke, vape, and dab rather than just one preferred method. The CDC identified a few public health risks from their data. The agency is concerned over potential harmful contaminants in vapes, causing a similar health scare to the 2019 vape crisis. It also cites increased burn injury risks for those dabbing and a need to secure all infused foods from children. There is also an increased fear that high THC products cause psychosis, and a rise in dabbing among younger populations could lead to a flare of cases. Though there are limitations, collecting this information helps diagnose potential public health problems. Knowing how people get stoned provides an accurate look at what issues could occur in the future, or since this data was released 3 years ago, now.
There you go.
Yeah.
International news. Alcohol retailers in Canada say they only should be able to legally sell marijuana products. You know how I feel about that? Alcohol retailers in several Canadian provinces are lobbying to be the exclusive legal sellers of cannabis products, arguing they already have secure infrastructure and trained staff.
No, what?
They claim this approach would improve public safety and streamline access. However, cannabis industry advocates argue that it would limit market diversity, harm smaller cannabis retailers, and contradict legalization goals. The debate highlights ongoing tensions over who should control cannabis distribution post-legalization. Of course, because alcohol is on the shitter right now.
Right.
So can those liquor stores owners, of course, want to sell a hot commodity. Police in Winnipeg targeting cannabis store customers. Winnipeg police are reportedly targeting cannabis customers of licensed cannabis stores for surveillance and traffic stops, raising concerns about privacy and potential harassment. Business owners say that this tactics discourage legal purchases and undermines the regulated market. The law enforcement claims it's part of a broader crime prevention, but critics argue it stigmatizes cannabis users and could push consumers back to the illicit market. Winnipeg police, you have nothing better to do. And it must be so boring out there. You have nobody to fuck with, but people going to buy legal weed to take it home to smoke. Remember the band NWA?
Yeah.
You know the song they were like really famous for? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so do I.
No.
I didn't say it. I know a lot of people are saying it in their head though right now.
They're not all bad.
I didn't say they were. Just the Winnipeg police.
Right now.
All right at this minute. Victoria Cannabis Summit aims to spark Canadian economy. The Victoria Cannabis Summit aims to highlight cannabis as a driver of economic growth in Canada. Set in British Columbia, some of the best weed grown in the world comes out of British Columbia. The event brings together policymakers, entrepreneurs, and advocates to discuss innovation, investment, and regulation in the legal cannabis industry. Organizers hope to boost the sector's visibility and potential, especially amid ongoing federal review of legalization policies. Malta moves to tighten recreational cannabis laws with new amendments. Malta is proposing amendments to tighten its regulation cannabis laws, aiming to enhance enforcement and clarify legal definitions. Key changes include shifting offenses by cannabis associations to the magistrate's court, expanding the powers of authority for the responsible use of cannabis, ARUC, and redefining cannabis to exclude non-psychoactive cannabinoids. Associations must also maintain a 250-meter distance from schools and avoid allowing minors on site or face heavy fines. From Malbec to marijuana, Argentina's provisional push fuels cannabis tourism, science, and policy. Argentina's provinces are advancing cannabis tourism, scientific research, and policy development to diversify the economies beyond traditional industries like wine. Provinces such as Jujuy and Mendoza are leading efforts with cannabis-based medical initiatives, educational programs, and public-private partnerships. The decentralized push is helping shape national cannabis reform and attracting international interest. The approach emphasizes sustainability, innovation, and regional empowerment. Cannabis stays legal in Germany following new coalition deal. Germany's no coalition government will not reverse the cannabis legalization law, the KNG. Despite pressure from Bavaria's conservative CSU push for a cannabis ban, the government will instead proceed with an evaluation of policy in late 2025. Germany's cannabis market, which became one of the most progressive in Europe in 2024, allows adults to cultivate, possess, and consume limited amounts of cannabis for personal use. CMAS pulls out of drawer a bill to decriminalize small amounts of cannabis in Lithuania. Lithuania's CMAS has withdrawn a bill that admitted to decriminalize small amounts of cannabis, which had been stalled since 2023. The draft proposes fines for possessing small quantities of cannabis, but procedural errors during the debate caused it to be sent to the committee. While some lawmakers see this as preparation for future consideration, others remain cautious about the bill's approval. The proposed cannabis would have imposed fines for minor cannabis offenses, with harsher penalties for repeated violations. Brazil's Supreme Court affirms adult cannabis possesses grow marijuana for personal use. Brazilians may possess up to 40 grams of cannabis and home cultivate up to 6 marijuana plants without the threat of arrest or incarceration, according to determination by members of the Supreme Federal Court. The decision affirmed clarifies an earlier decision depenalizing low-level marijuana possession. The use of cannabis in public remains subject to administrative penalties. Cannabis trafficking remains punishable by criminal penalties. An estimated 25% of Brazilian prisoners are serving time for minor drug possession offenses. Come on, Brazil. One step forward, one step back. Panama regulates cannabis while Italy bans it. Panama expands medical cannabis access with new decree, but bans vaporizers. Guess they don't like the big clouds. Italy bans all hemp and CBD flower, risking 30,000 jobs and EU trade conflict. So all they want to do is sell pasta. Hey, over here, moron. Come on, Italy. Chile moves to legalize adult use cannabis with backing from presidential candidate. Chile's new bill proposes legal adult use cannabis, home grow, and collectives. Civil society and experts support reform as a response to failed drug policy. Come on, Chile. Let's go. Israel to move forward with tariffs. It's a big word right now. Never heard the word tariffs used so much in the last 30 days as I've had lately on the news on Canadian cannabis, as high as 165%. Israel imposed tariffs on Canadian cannabis imports ranging up to 165% over allegations of product dumping that undercuts the local market. Dump. The Ministry of Economy's investigation found that Canadian cannabis was being sold at unfairly low prices, damaging Israel's domestic industry. Companies like Oragram and Decibel received lower tariffs due to the cooperation with the investigation. This move has sparked backlash from Canadian producers and Israel's Ministry of Health, questioning the fairness of the process. There is fairness in that process. You're product dumping. You're giving them your boof. Mm-hmm. Let's just put it that way. Garbage. Let's just be honest.
It's garbage.
You're just giving them your shit. Basically, it's probably the stuff's been sitting around that you can't sell. Israel. Learn to grow your own bud. Don't import. Learn to grow your own weed. Dr. Michelin would be so proud of you if you did. The founder of what, Mrs. Weedman?
Cannabis.
THC. And other cannabinoids, too. We're all going to be celebrating a big day coming up on Sunday. Easter Sunday. Sorry. Yes, I know. Easter and 420 fall on the same day this year. We will still be celebrating 420 with a joint and praising that joint up to God because he created weed. But it is Easter Sunday. And if I was to go and really celebrate 420, Ma Weed would slap Mr. Weedman in the back of the head going, God first, son. Right? I get slapped right in the back of the head. So, but as we all know, 420. Huh? What? Oh, she dropped the elbow.
Who, me? Oh, you're talking
about. No, I'm talking about Ma Weed.
Like,
Ma Weed. Or Ma 420. Grandma Weed, Ma 420. So, Ma 420 would give me the old. My mother has the fucking sharpest, pointiest elbows known to man. She can break fucking an ice chunk or 10 boards or go through a couple bricks with that fucking elbow. And when she fucking takes that elbow and cracks it in the center of your back, you go down like a bitch. She drops the elbow. Bam! So that if I was to go forget about who put me on this planet to go celebrate 420, she would drop that elbow, and I would fall to the ground and cry like a baby. But it is 420. And we're going to be celebrating on the 17th, 18th, 19th, and a little bit on the 20th. Okay? But celebrating 420, you should know some stuff.
Yeah.
Right, Mrs. Weedman? Especially if it's your first 420.
Yeah. 420 is the biggest day of the year for cannabis consumers. Whether you're a seasoned enthusiast or trying cannabis for the first time, it's a time to celebrate, explore new products, and connect with the community. But just like any good celebration, it's important to enjoy responsibly. I've seen it all. Rookie mistakes, seasoned pros overdoing it, and people learning the hard way that 420 isn't just about getting as high as possible. So here are some tips, including do's and don'ts to help you make the most of your 420 without regrets. Do know your limits. Even if you're a regular consumer, 420 is not the day to test your tolerance in a way that could ruin your experience. If you're trying something new, whether it's a high-potency edible, a new concentrate, or a strain you're unfamiliar with, pace yourself. The last thing you want to be is that person who overdid it at 2 p.m. and spent the rest of the day glued to the couch, or worse, dealing with paranoia. Don't mix cannabis with alcohol, unless you do it with caution. A few drinks and a joint may sound like a good time, but combining cannabis with alcohol can hit differently, often in an unpredictable way. Alcohol intensifies, or it can intensify, THC's effects, leading to dizziness, nausea, or what's known as greening out. If you're consuming both, take it slow, hydrate, and know when to stop. If you're looking for a refreshing way to celebrate, cannabis beverages offer a controlled, predictable experience without the unpredictability of mixing alcohol. Do take advantage of 420 deals. One of the best parts of 420 are the deep discounts. Many dispensaries offer deep savings on products. Make it a great time. This makes it a great time to stock up or try something new. Be sure to check out your dispo deals in advance because lines can get long. Pre-ordering can save you time.
Order online.
Yeah. Don't drive under the influence. This one should go without saying, but it is worth repeating. Just because cannabis is legal in many places doesn't mean you should drive after consuming. Plan for a rideshare, public transit, or a designated driver. And if you're hosting, make sure your guests get home safely too. Do choose high-quality products. Make your 420 count with premium flower and trusted brands no matter what you're buying. Look for lab-tested products from reputable brands to ensure a clean and enjoyable experience. Don't forget that edibles take time to kick in. One of the most common mistakes, we all should know this by now, is that you eat it and you have to wait, and people don't, and then they eat more. So, edibles take time, 60 to 90 minutes, to reach their full effect. Be patient and start with a low dose of 5 milligrams or less if you're new.
What's the line?
Start low and go slow.
There it is.
Do stay hydrated and have munchies ready. Cannabis can cause dry mouth and dehydration, so keep water on hand throughout the day. And let's be real, munchies are part of the fun, so have some snacks ready, whether it's your favorite chips, candy, or a go-to comfort food. Don't feel like you have to go all out on 420. The day is about celebrating cannabis, but that doesn't mean that you have to consume a ridiculous amount to participate. Some people microdose, some enjoy a single joint, and others prefer CBD or non-intoxicating products. There is no right way to celebrate. Just do what feels good for you. Do respect the space and people around you.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Not everyone celebrates 420, and that's okay. Be mindful of where you consume. Public consumption laws vary, and you don't want to be that person who accidentally hotboxes someone's apartment hallway. If you're celebrating with friends, make sure the vibe is a no peer pressure, good energy kind of way. April 20th is a time to enjoy cannabis, connect with community, and maybe even learn something new. Whether you're lighting up solo with friends or at an event, the key is to celebrate responsibly. So take it slow, know your limits, and most importantly, have fun.
That's right. Have fun and enjoy the day.
Yeah.
Enjoy the day.
Get a little bakey.
Yeah.
A little extra bakey.
Yes. Have some fun. Enjoy it.
Live it up.
Yes. And we always read the story of 420. Not today. It's not our 420 episode, but we always read the story of 420, where the Waldos came from and how they started the 420 at the time, and why this is such an important to keep this holidays going year after year, to always remember where, 420 came from, why it started and where it's gone. And just to keep that legacy of those guys over in California, their memory, what they've done for us, making us have one of the greatest holidays ever. So yeah, we'll talk about it on the next episode. So, but Mrs. Weedman,
Mr. Weedman,
you got anything else to say?
Have a great week, everybody. Have a amazing 420, however you celebrate it. have a great time. Tell us your stories. Post some pictures. Tag us.
Yeah, tag us. And we hope to see you at the event this Saturday we're going to be at, Rolling Doinks. And I'll have some cool new strains, a couple new strains with me for people to try. And we look forward to seeing everybody. And we love you out there. Thank you for listening to this show. We really appreciate you all. We appreciate all the feedback and all the love that you all show. Thank you again for listening. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puffing away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.